Boxing fans, boxing fans, it's 6 a.m. in the morning. Why am I awake? Guys, welcome back to the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Now, you may be wondering, Andres, why is it 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? Well, I'm going to put it simply. So I want to yesterday, I came on live. I had to end it really quickly. Something came up. Everything's fine. But I have to make this live stream super early today. I cannot make it later on today. So, yes, and if I'm tired and kind of speaking in a low energy voice, that's because I woke up at 5:30 a.m. So I could do this for y'all. So hopefully for those who are watching in the future, which is probably the majority of the people watching this, because who would be up at this hour unless you got school, please enjoy. So why did Logan Paul win? So here's the thing. When it comes to Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather, did Logan Paul win the fight? No, he didn't. Floyd Mayweather won this fight very easily. If you go to the scorecards, Floyd Mayweather out-punched Logan, outlanded him, whatever you call it. The percentage was higher. And, Logan didn't show that he was better than Floyd Mayweather. So then if Logan didn't win the fight, then how did he win the fight? And I'm going to explain to you guys why, but hold on. I want to see if I can move this up so I can, let's see if I can just move this up. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so how did Logan Paul win the fight? Okay, so first of all, the fact that people like True Jordy, the Wade Concept, sports analysts, YouTubers, people all over, give Logan like a round or two. Like they say that Logan won the first 2 rounds, and the fact that we can even say that is a W for Logan. That's a win for Logan, because everyone thought that Logan was going to be absolutely embarrassed. And this was going to be a one-sided beatdown from the time the first bell rang. That kickboxer that Floyd fought back in 2018, I think, or whatever. That was a one-sided embarrassment for that guy, and Floyd did it with ease. That's what we expected with the Logan fight. I know everyone's trying to tamper their expectations and say this, but here's the thing. Don't make excuses, because before this fight, everyone betted on Logan getting knocked out. No one thought Logan was going to make it the 8 rounds. And if you are saying that you did expect it to go the full 8 rounds, you're lying to yourself. Thirdly, people were saying that Floyd didn't train. Floyd did in fact train. And Canelo. Logan said that, along with Showtime, that Floyd was training harder for this than Canelo. So that instantly disproves you guys' points. I know that's not proper English. Your point that Floyd was not trying, or that he was toying, or that he was going 50%, or he didn't care. And the thing is that, and you said that about McGregor, and Floyd still beat McGregor. So what I'm saying here is that even if Floyd was not trying in this fight, not trying to knock Logan out, going 50%, or he was paid off not to knock him out, not trying 50% Floyd Mayweather should be enough, and is enough, to beat a lot of his opponents. He allowed Conor to gas himself out, and then he went in and absolutely not obliterated, but he started to hurt Conor and like rock him, daze him. We should have gotten that with Logan. And yes, I know Logan and Floyd, 2 different weight classes, very different in height and weight. Floyd's punches aren't going to be as effective on a 200-pound guy as it is going to be on a 140, 130, 120 guy. I understand that. And I know Floyd isn't known for his KO power. He's known for precision, for winning on points, for going the full distance. Like, that is expected of Mayweather. But the fact is that Mayweather said, I'm going to end this in 1 round. And Mayweather's expectations was this was not going to go to the decision. He was expecting Logan to gas out, and then for him to start landing the big shots, tire Logan out, and then eventually have the ref call it off. Logan would either quit, or he could potentially TKO Logan Paul. And that's what should have happened. The fact that Logan Paul lasted longer than Conor McGregor is insane, and that's another W for Logan. Like Floyd, I almost feel like failed in a way because, well, he didn't fail. Like I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression of what I'm trying to say here. Logan Floyd won this, but he lost it in the sense that he showed off that he still had technique, ability, the ability to go up against a big dude and it be like nothing, and him not even looking like he was even in a fight. But where he failed was that you, as a pro boxer, were expected to like really embarrass this guy. Like there was never a round where I felt Logan was rocked. There were moments when I felt, okay, this is the beginning of the end. This is where Floyd's really going to light up. That never happened in this fight. And the fact that it never happened in this fight is a W for Logan, and it's an L for Floyd. Like Floyd was supposed to light up on Logan, hurt him, rock him. Like that's like the fact that like what he did with Conor in the later rounds, like in rounds 10, I think it ended in the 10th round for Conor. The 10th, 9th, 8th, especially the last round, that's what should have happened with Logan Paul. That's what should have happened. And I feel it's because I think Logan took the troubles of what the flaws of what Conor did, which was coming in too quick, gassing out, and then allowing Mayweather to come in and absolutely ruin you. And Logan didn't do that. And I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I hope this makes sense. But anyways, and I think that's why Logan didn't gas out. And also Logan was able to use the clinching and literally weigh all of his weight on Mayweather and hug him, which I think delayed the inevitable and took Mayweather off of his pace and off of his groove. And for you to be able to say, hey, I kind of messed with Mayweather's pace and his timing, that's incredible. So I just think that Mayweather took an L, because, listen, I mean, they both didn't take L's. Listen, Logan and Mayweather both walked away with millions of dollars. Both have a lot of respect. Less Mayweather because he even took the fight. And Logan got to say, hey, I went 8 rounds with one of the best boxers on planet Earth. And the thing is that, I think that Logan's track record is more impressive than Jake's. But before I get to that, my final point, my final thing I want this whole charade that I'm going on is trying to say here is that, again, I think that Logan took the W in the sense that he went 8 rounds with Mayweather. He got hit with big shots. He landed some big shots. He avoided some really good shots. Like to say, hey, I avoided a shot from Mayweather. I landed a big shot on Mayweather multiple times. I was able to take an uppercut. And I mean, did you see Logan's face? Like, listen, I know that Mayweather is known for his power, but Mayweather could have knocked out Logan Paul. He should have at least got him rocked, like he didn't have to knock him out, but he should have at least gotten him rocked, hurt, like stumbling, like Conor was. Like that's what should have happened. And now that didn't happen, people are doing like mental gymnastics to try and justify why that didn't happen. And it baffles me. It really does baffle me. Because I feel like people are not giving Logan the proper credit and respect he is due. Like this was look at Logan's face. Look at his eyes. You could tell Logan was in a fight. He has a huge dent on his head too. Like this guy, like listen, I don't undervalue Mayweather's power. There's this guy who, if you're watching this, you know who you are. And we've been debating in the DMs, and he is saying that is basically undervaluing and putting down Floyd's power. And why would you? Don't ever do that. And why would you ever do that? Why would you personally undervalue a pro boxer's power? And again, like Floyd is not known to be a KO artist like Mike Tyson. And people might be like, oh well, a 150 dude hitting, a 200, 190, almost 200 guy with an uppercut isn't that impressive, especially if he's not trying. And I'm like, yes, it is. It's like, bro, like even like you could tell Logan was hurt. Like I remember one point when Logan got hit with a shot right to the chin, and he instantly went to the clinch. Like there were shots where you could tell that affected Logan. I don't think it rocked him, but it definitely got his attention. Like Mayweather, if there was enough rounds and maybe if Logan gassed out more, could probably have made Logan go to the canvas. If the fight was longer. Or maybe he wouldn't have. But I think that there were points in the fight when you saw Mayweather trying to turn up the heat, turn up the fire, especially in rounds 3, 4, and 5. He definitely landed a lot better shots, countered Logan a lot better, and you could tell he was going for it. But Logan didn't allow him to do that, and that's because I really enjoyed Logan's style in this fight. I know I'm all over the place. I don't care. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. Basically, Logan's strategy was conserve energy, clinch, and delay the inevitable. And the first 2 rounds, Logan, especially at the end, Logan just kind of went in for going like this. And there's been amazing memes from that whole combination that Logan did, which was a waste of energy, but it was like a screw this technique. I'm just going to go for the KSI haymakers. And he did manage to land 2 shots in that flurry, though. But and this is why I say Logan was the only YouTuber that I think could do this good against Mayweather, because 1, of the height and the weight and the intrigue that brings, and 2, if Logan was Mayweather's height and weight, or he was, there was a 3-inch difference and a 20-pound weight difference or a 10-pound weight difference, Mayweather, I think if Logan was shorter or even the same height and weight as Mayweather, I think he wouldn't have made it past the 8 rounds, because again, Mayweather does better with people that are his size, and that's why there are weight classes. Because Logan was taller and weighed more, it was a lot harder to knock him out, and it was a lot harder to fight him / dominate him. Whereas other YouTubers are the TikTokers are the same size as Mayweather, and a lot of the other YouTubers are not these 6'2", blonde, muscular, big guys. So that's why I think one of the main factors as to why Logan was the best person, or one of the only YouTubers that could really go against Mayweather. The second reason is because of Logan's wrestling background and his ability to clinch. Logan in the clinch is what carried Logan through this fight, because I could tell going into rounds 3 and 4, Logan was starting doing this on the ropes. He was starting to get super tired, and I thought this was good. That was going to be the end for him, but instead he just clinched Floyd, and sometimes he would just hold him or literally put all of his weight down. And there was a clear difference between his clinching in the KSI fight and this fight. With the KSI fight, he would clinch whenever KSI would throw big shots because he didn't want to get hit. With this, that was the same. That effect was still the same here, but he would start to, fight Floyd in the clinch, do body shots, do dirty shots, really get in there with him. And I was very happy with Logan, and I think the second fight, showed him that he needs to have the heart, the commitment, and the ability to go on. And I'm glad that he lost to KSI, because I think if he had won against KSI, he might have performed really bad against Mayweather, and he probably wouldn't be getting the kind of reception he is now. But again, and people complain about the clinch, but again, don't hate the player, hate the game. Because in this game of boxing, you can clinch. Sorry, I was trying to mimic Eddie Hearn. But what I'm trying to get at is that the clinching is something you can do in boxing. And again, I think people were upset about that, but hey, you gotta respect and almost be in awe of the genius that Logan was able to do in this fight, which was literally hold on to him and delay the inevitable. And it took Mayweather off of his groove. Mayweather said in his corner, hey, you can play it back. It's the full fight. It's on YouTube. I can't find it anywhere, and I don't want to get copyrighted from Showtime Famio. But he said to his corner, it's hard to jab this guy. I just heard Mayweather say this, it's hard. And for him to say that, he never said that for McGregor. But for him to say that for a YouTuber, that's such a W. You made Mayweather say that you were hard. That sounds wrong. But you get what I'm saying. He said that raw, not for the cameras. He was looking at his corner. He was not saying that to appease Logan or make him feel better. For him to say that, that's a W. And that honestly just shows that Logan is one of the few that can do this. And again, the weighing down, it messes with you. It messes with your pace. And Mayweather is such a defensive boxer that, having to go into the clinch and wanting to get out of that, that's not where Mayweather really excels. However, he was able to land some really good body shots onto Logan Paul. But I just don't think we've seen Floyd with a real clincher before. I might be wrong, but like at least for the past few exhibitions and final few fights, like no one really clinched Floyd. But that was such a smart move from Logan because he used his biggest asset to help him recover, gain up energy, and delay the inevitable and take Mayweather off of his groove. So you have to respect that. You have to respect that. And no other YouTuber could do that. I think if Jake or KSI would fight, I love KSI and I hate Jake, but I don't think they would last as long as Logan, and I don't think they do as well because one, Jake and KSI are similar, less. They are shorter than Logan and they weigh less than Logan. So it would be more of a 20-pound, 3-inch difference for them against Floyd. And both of them aren't great at they're both not like great at clinching. You know what I mean? Like they're good at clinching, but they're not great like Logan, and all of their weight is not as much weight as Logan's. So if KSI and Jake were hurt, like Logan, there were moments when Logan was in trouble, but he would clinch them. Whereas if he was the same height and weight as Mayweather, or he wasn't good enough and that wasn't his main strength, I think Logan would start to crumble, and we would see more of the beatdown that we were promised. Which is why I think Logan is the only one who can do this. Another reason why I think Logan is the only one who can do this is because of his reflexes, and his. And I always say Logan is one of the best movers in the YouTube scene. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean he's able to dodge shots very well. He's able to have really good reflexes for a huge guy, and this is something that even True Jordy said. I always admire that. Like Logan came in down low, kind of like what he did with the Gronk brothers, and he was able to kind of block Mayweather shots, and his hands down weren't that big of an issue. I think that he definitely should work on that more, and I think a new coach and a new style might not be a bad idea. But you know what? The hands down was not the huge issue and wasn't the reason why Logan would have like failed really. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say here. Sorry, that was long. Just checking the Instagrams. I'm gonna just tell Nappy that I'm live just in case he wants to join. Anyways, I don't know who the one person watching this is, but thanks for watching. Weird that you didn't comment anything, but it's cool. I know it's early. Sorry. So back to what I was saying. So for for Logan, I think his ability to dodge shots is something that other YouTubers couldn't do. Like I think if Jake fought Mayweather, I think he'd be too aggressive. Mayweather would have to go 100% and really try. I think Jake would get countered too much. I think that he would get frustrated and ultimately gas out and end up being kind of like McGregor, which is getting TKO'd or just going the full 8 rounds, but not looking as good as Logan is, and not being able to use that out of the clinch and delaying things. I think Jake is someone that I think does good under pressure, but I don't think he does good under frustration. Like Logan, like you have to imagine the mental like calmness that Logan had to do and just getting in that arena and what he was asked mentally and physically to do. No, not a lot of other YouTubers could do, save for Jake and KSI, and even them I don't think could do it as well. Hey Nappy, I know it's early, but I had to end the live stream a bit early, and I am doing it now at 6:25 in the morning. So hopefully you enjoy. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Like Logan, Jake, I don't think Jake would do as well against Floyd. Well, what time is it on your clock? It's 6:25 a.m. So, and I'm gonna be on it for like another like 10 minutes or so. So I'm trying to wrap it up. But for Jake, I just don't think he'd do as well against Floyd. I know I said that 3 times already, but I just want Nappy to hear it. And for me, I think that personally, I think Jake, he does lean into his punches more. I think he has key things that make him more powerful than Logan, and I don't disagree with that. I don't agree with that he is better than Logan, but he is better, but just not like better. Like you guys know what I mean. But I think he would maybe give Mayweather a bit more of a run for his money. And I think his power might be more effective. But at the end of the day, I just don't think I think he's good at dodging shots. I think that like he just wouldn't be as good as Logan. And again, like Logan, like, and this is why I think Logan is the king of YouTube boxing. Why I think he can beat any YouTuber who's a boxer, or really any celebrity, because any other fight, one, seems like a step down from this, and two, will seem like an easy spar compared to like what he had to go with Mayweather. Like at any moment, he could have gotten hit with a shot and gotten dropped. At any moment, anything could have happened, and he had to deal with the frustration of throwing shots and none of them were landing, and having to deal with Mayweather's quick style. Like the frustration and the composure you have to have has to be like the experience he got on Sunday night was invaluable. Invaluable, guys. The experience he got was invaluable because if you fight Mayweather, any other fight's gonna seem like an easy fight for you. Or any fight is like, oh, I'm not landing. Okay, boom. Like you have that confidence. Like, hey, if I can hit Mayweather, who's so hard to fight, and I'm able to keep my composure, I can keep my composure against someone like Jake Paul or another celebrity. Or hey, I'm not hitting him. It's cool. Let me just go in with that. Like I think any YouTuber, like Logan is not a YouTube boxer to me anymore. He's a real fighter, and he was a real fighter before this fight. And at the end of the day, I think Logan can beat anyone because if you go up against Mayweather and you survive 8 rounds with him, I mean Logan was getting hit with some big shots. He threw some heavy shots. He didn't miss. He missed a lot. But if you can go 8 rounds with Mayweather, you can go 8 rounds against your brother. And I believe in him enough to be like, I think you can beat Jake. And I'm gonna say it here first. I think Logan Paul can beat Jake Paul. I think if he got a new style and a new trainer, maybe perhaps, I think he'd be deadly and super lethal. And I think it just takes more to harness that killer instinct as opposed to his brother, who kind of naturally has that mean-spirited bully vibe, but that works in the ring for him. But I think he can beat Jake because, again, purely I think that he has had more competitive fights. He's proved more. He's proved more in the ring. And again, like, I think that Jake isn't had all those things. He's going to have that with Woodley. At this current moment, if you would ask me who would win, Logan or Jake, I'd say Logan because Logan fought Mayweather. And I think anything Jake would give to Logan would seem like easy work, would seem like whatever, And I think the experience he would learn in terms of keeping a good mentality, just at a whole new level of mental thinkingness when it comes to boxing. And I think he could take a shot from Jake and feel like it's nothing because, hey, I got hit by Floyd Mayweather. I know what a real punch feels like. I know what it's like to be against a real pro boxer. So, and I know that Jake's technical ability could trump Logan's, but I don't know. After seeing this fight, I think, at least for this moment, you have to really consider that Logan might be able to beat Jake. And yeah, so, Logan, and the thing is like Logan, to me, I respect him more than Jake because he actually had the courage and the bravery to get his checkmark, his validity, that you are a real fighter, Logan, by going up against an actual pro boxer. Like, guys, this was the first YouTuber to fight a pro boxer. Like tonight made history. Or I guess Sunday night made history. Like that Sunday night made history. Logan Paul, a YouTuber, went to fight a pro boxer. You have to give respect to that. And not just any pro boxer. The GOAT of boxing, the best boxer of our era and generation. And and the thing is like, I remember when Jake fought Nate Robinson, and he started saying, I could beat Conor, I could do this, talking absolutely absurdity. And people hated him, not because they wanted to invalidate his win, but because his win was so, like, not that much of an accomplishment that, like, you don't say that after you beat an easy cherry pick. You say that after you beat someone like Mayweather. If Jake Paul hypothetically fought Mayweather and then he started calling Conor and all these people, I would be like, you can go ahead and say that. And if Logan wants to call it Conor, Manny Pacquiao, any other pro boxer, any other really good person, and talk all of these like big absurd things, I'm not going to hate on him, and no one else should, because he did the most absurd thing, and that's fight Mayweather. And he proved himself enough that, like, hey, if you think you can, like, if you want to believe that you can beat someone like Conor, I'm not going to hate on you because you just went 8 rounds with Mayweather. So you, of course, deserve and should have that belief, even though some of it's a bit foolish, probably. Logan can start calling out the most absurd people. Now, do I advise that he fights, calls out Tyson Fury? No, that's a terrible idea. But I think at the end of the day, Logan is able to essentially say whatever he wants to say, and he has the right to say whatever he wants to say because he fought Mayweather. So after fighting someone like Mayweather, you can call out all these big people and say these big things, and I'm gonna believe you. Like Logan saying, like, I can beat Mayweather. I don't believe Logan could beat like another pro boxer, but I do think he could hold his own like he did against Mayweather, against someone like Conor, Manny Pacquiao, or some other like mid-term boxer, mid-level like Tommy Fury. And I'd love to see Tommy Fury versus Logan Paul. But again, I think that if Logan would have fought another pro boxer, I would be like, okay, Logan, like you're not going to win this, and you didn't win against Floyd, really. But I'm going to believe that you're going to hold your own, you're going to land some good shots, and I don't think you're going to get utterly ran through. And I'm going to have respect for you. Like, Logan earned his credentials by going in and doing the hard thing, and I respect that. You have to respect that. And like and Jake has basically gone in that validity, that checkmark, everyone talking about him, but through an easy fight in Ben Askren. And Jake's career is been such a fraudulent thing. Listen, he went away from KSI. He went away from Dylan Moran and Tommy Fury. I need to even explain those? Like, to quickly summarize, people are like, oh, KSI had a year to train. He had 6 months to train when he called out Jake. 2, Logan magically had a better chance at being a better boxer than Jake, and also both were state wrestlers, both were were experienced with combat, both were athletes, both were big names. 3, yes, business wise, the brother versus brother probably made more sense. But at the end of the day, KSI versus Jake still would have done amazing pay-per-view numbers and would have made millions of dollars. And at the end of the day, Jake went away because he's an insecure bully, and bullies pick on guys that are not their size. Hence Deadly, who didn't train, who got hit with one shot and went down, who Jake saw clearly as not as much of a threat as JJ. And while Deadly could have been one of the best boxers because he was at 50% potential, that fight was just Jake hitting a bag, and Deadly, whenever he got hit by something, would just go and lean in a corner and fight Jake. So the Deadly fight, if Deadly trained hard, got in shape, you saw it, like in February, he would get hit with a punch and then he would go down, and then now he wouldn't, and he did all those things, and he trained with Vidal. I wouldn't discredit that fight, and no one should, because he didn't do those things, and Jake really took that accomplishment and made it bigger than it was, which then annoyed people, which then made people want to discredit you, which is not us that started it, that was you that started it, Jake. I can discredit that with Gib, with Nate. Like, Gib was another YouTuber who was overhyped, beast from the Middle East. Like, he had a weak chin. He never improved in boxing. KSI did. You see the level of difference in boxing skills that between Gib and KSI. If you look at the spars, KSI is better athletically, chin-wise, boxing IQ-wise. Even when KSI gets wild, he is better than Gib. They literally do the exact same thing, and they go and attack Logan, attack Jake, and they go like this. And you can watch it side by side and see that it's just 2 different levels of boxing. And Jake beating Gib shouldn't have been any indicator of that KSI could lose to Jake, because again, KSI and Gib are 2 different fighters. And in terms of the larger boxing, well, these 2 fights of Deadly and Gib meant absolutely nothing. And again, let me reiterate this. Gib is one of the worst boxers ever, and the fact that a TikToker has more of a chance than a guy that's been doing this for many years says a lot. And let's say this, also, Gib's first opponent was half blind. His second opponent was never an athlete. Thirdly, while you can have more experience and do things longer than another person, that doesn't mean you are good at it. And that's exactly what happened with Gib. Jake had trained for a lot less and had been doing it for a lot less, but yet was somehow better than Gib. Not having more experience than another guy doesn't mean you are better than them. I have more experience in school than a 4th grader, but that 4th grader probably will get an A in math over me. So, and again, Gib was overhyped, and that's it. And I understand that we as the fans overhyped Gib, and we didn't really look at the facts and the statistics, and Jake had the right to say that, and it was a surprise. The way Gib was fighting, I think most YouTubers could beat the way Jake beat him in a pro fight with 10-ounce gloves, like Logan, like Taylor Holder, like Bryce. I mean, like the fact that a lot of people think a TikToker who's never boxed before has a better chance against a YouTuber who's been in 2 amateur fights and a pro fight says a lot about Gib. And again, you can say this and that, but at the end of the day, Gib wasn't even KSI's main sparring partner. The last time they sparred was in 2018, guys. Like, and again, just look, footage says it all. The footage says it all. Nate Robinson, Ben Askren, summarize it. Both guys, athlete and pro fighter, but had the skills of YouTubers, and you can't deny that they had the skill level of YouTubers. So Jake, in a sense, fought 2 more YouTubers and has never graduated to a real fighter. You know what I mean? Like, I could explain this in more detail, but like, look at the footage, guys. Nate Robinson used his head. Ben Askren, like, there were TikTokers and YouTubers that could beat him. Ryan Johnston could beat Nate Robinson and Ben Askren, and he's never even had a fight. Taylor Holder could do that. Austin McBoom probably could do that. Like, that just shows how low of a level of competition is. The fact that Addison Ray looks better on the speed bag than Nate Robinson shows the level of competition that Jake is having and how little of a competition they were. You know, like, he is a fraud that has somehow convinced you guys. And listen, I say this, Jake has shown great skill. I don't deny that he's a good boxer. He's shown good stuff and bad stuff, and I give him credit for that. But the Nate Robinson fight, man was throwing haymakers. And not just technical haymakers, but wild haymakers. And that was when he was really getting and it wasn't like technical haymakers. It just showed that when pressured, Jake doesn't do well. Because the way Jake fights is very technical. It's body shots, it's head shots. It's not very relying just solely on power or heart. It's focusing on the technique of it. And with Nate and Ben Askren, again, like that those weren't things that other people could do that. You know, other people could knock them out. Maybe not to the extent that Jake is. And again, I think Jake has power. And again, I think KSI can easily lose to Jake. And I think Jake can make a name for himself in the sport. But again, you know, you say all of these things and then you fight these weak guys, and it's like he got all the validity, he got the Showtime deal from Ben Askren. But I just hate that because he didn't do the hard thing. He did the hard work without actually doing the hard work, if you get what I'm saying. You know, he got that validity by doing the bare minimum and getting by it through mediocrity, you know, and again, Ben Askren, he's an Olympian, he's an athlete, he has all these accolades, but it's in wrestling. And at the end of the day, guy had a terrible ground game. His chin was overrated, and the only reason why people rated his chin was because of him getting hit by, was it Robbie Lawyer? But again, that getting hit by shots like that in the head is not as powerful as getting hit by one shot from a boxer. And it doesn't have to be special to Jake. Like, if that was Logan or KSI, they could have KO'd him. And when you think of it like that, you think, wow, what Jake did was not very special. And a lot of other YouTubers and TikTokers could probably KO this guy or just beat him or show that he doesn't have the chin anymore. And so, and I give him respect for Woodley, and if he beats Woodley, it changes the narrative. But, you know, I have more respect for Logan for getting that validity by fighting an actual boxer, and Jake didn't. You know, Dylan Moran, Tommy Fury, it just came down to business-wise, it wouldn't make sense. But Jake is guaranteed 1 million pay-per-view buys, and he's going to make money on any fight he does. And the fact is he was the one that called Dylan weak. But I don't know why you wouldn't fight Dylan Moran, because that goes perfect with the Conor narrative. You beat the guy that Conor said gave him a hard time in the ring, was an interesting Irish prospect. You get that Conor fight instantly, and you prove yourself. Same thing with Tommy Fury. And if anything, Tommy Fury proved he's not as advanced as we all think, and that this fight would probably be more fair than we all believe. So Jake really doesn't have an excuse for doing this, for not taking the fight against Tommy. Like, I just don't get it, you know? And anyways, Jake at the end of the day is a coward. I have more respect for Logan. I think Logan's had more competition and more competitive fight. Same thing with KSI. Like Logan was not an easy competitor for KSI, and KSI was not an easy competitor for Logan. KSI wasn't absolutely dominating Logan. Logan wasn't absolutely dominating KSI. Both took big hits, went full 6 rounds, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear, 12-ounce gloves, headgear, took massive shots, gave massive shots back. And Joe Wello, even though I think if he didn't freeze, he was actually technically okay and decent. I think he would have done better than Ben Askren or Nate Robinson. So at the end of the day, I think Logan and KSI have had better careers and deserve more respect and have had better competition than Jake has. And in the comments, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of debates. I'm going to wrap this up now because I have to go and I want to do a debate and see what you guys have to say about my opinions. But again, I think Logan was the real winner tonight, and he gets to go away with 8 rounds in the books. And for the people that make excuses for Mayweather, you can't. Like, Mayweather just simply didn't do what he needed to do, which was give a once. And this was a beatdown, but not in the way we thought. And that's a fail for Mayweather, in my opinion. In my book, the fact that Mayweather was not able to rock Logan and not finish him in 8 rounds, or not have like a Conor moment, that's an L for Mayweather. And I could see the disappointment on Mayweather's face. For Mayweather to say, he's tougher than I thought, he's better than I thought, I rate him. But, like, bro, the best boxer in the world said that you were tougher than you thought. Like, that's all the thing you need. So Logan was the real winner tonight. He got the validity, he got the respect. But to be honest, the Jake Paul fight, somebody, it's like a UFC fight, but Jake does it in a sneaky way. Yeah, I agree, Nappy. But at the end of the day, he got the validity, he got the respect, he went the full 8 rounds, he impressed people, and now everyone's making excuses. And you can't, all you got to say is you got to respect it. And the fact that, hey, a YouTuber went 8 rounds with a pro boxer. Let that sink in. That Logan actually won a round, that's crazy. And even if Mayweather not trying should be enough. I can bet you a buck, no other YouTuber or celebrity could have performed the way Logan performed. No one, no other YouTuber. I don't think any other YouTuber could have gone 8 rounds, including Jake and KSI. So at the end of the day, give Logan your respect. Admit the fact that Mayweather did not perform the way you thought he was, that Logan surprised you, and that Logan's had better competition, and that Logan, at this moment, is the king of YouTube boxing. You could say I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead, let's debate. But at the end of the day, Mayweather didn't perform in this diminutive way, and Logan Paul didn't get best. That was the expectation. It wasn't meant. Floyd should have been able to do these things, and he wasn't able to. Enough said.